Off the rails, sign Harry is in trouble in the Blockbuster court case. Even before he has uttered a single word in his latest Blockbuster court case, things have already, yes, already hit the skids. I think the best thing we can say after the outing of Harry's high stakes courtroom campaign against the British media is that at least this case does not involve some kind of illegal game of baccarat or maybe a prince sleeping with a society gal, as was the case the last time a senior member of the royal family did a little bit of noble sweating under oath back in 1891. Because that is when Albert, the Prince of Wales, later on known as Edward VII, faced some pretty big questions about an illegal card game. But Bertie, as his friends like to call him, was no stranger to the courtroom. He had already had to give evidence in the divorce of his lover, Harriet Mordaunt. Harry is supposed to enter the witness box this week, and while Bertie's great-great-great-grandson's case may not involve any illegal gambling or even infidelity, even before Harry has said a word in court, things have already gone off the rails. So, how crazy have things gotten? What, did Harry forget his packed lunch that Meghan made for him on the plane? Or maybe he got caught asking his high profile barrister David Sherburne if he could play on his phone in the courtroom? Oh no, even worse, actually. Harry just didn't even bother showing up. Earlier this year, during one of Harry's interviews to promote his tell all book Spare, Harry said that reforming the British press was his life's work. Right now, Harry is involved in court cases against 3 separate UK publishers, including Associated Newspapers Limited, owner of the Daily Mail, News Group Newspapers, owner of The Sun and the long shut down News of the World, and also Mirror Group Newspapers. Well, it seems like Harry's life's work has really kicked off with a vengeance. Witnesses have included Harry being called in the Mirror Group newspaper's case. But even so, Harry's lawyer, David Sherburne, had to explain to the obviously annoyed judge why exactly Harry was nowhere to be found. According to The Guardian, when Mirror Group newspaper's lawyers indicated they would speed through their opening arguments, Harry's team admitted their client would not be ready in time, to the obvious annoyance of the judge. Mr. Sherburne clarified that Harry had only left California on Sunday evening, having prioritized being at home for his daughter's second birthday. The high-priced King's Counsel also said that the King's son is in a different category from the 3 other claimants due to his travel and security arrangements. Alright, the reason doesn't really matter. Harry didn't show up. So Justice Fancourt rebuked the Duke, the Telegraph reports, over the no-show. That's certainly not a good start, considering the very person he has annoyed is the same person who is going to decide this case. If the judge isn't pleased, then I'm just confused. Because Harry has basically his reputation and a lot of money riding on this case, so I don't understand why he wasn't in court early in the morning in a neatly pressed suit. It's just confusing. I guess it's kind of cute that he just had to be there for Elizabeth's birthday. But anyway, why could he have not left earlier? Why couldn't he have taken an earlier flight on Sunday? Or why could they not have celebrated on Saturday? I mean, if she's turning 2 years old, it's not like she was going to know the difference anyway. I don't think I've ever heard of a 2-year-old who even knows the day of their birthday. Or maybe the real key to understanding this situation lies in a couple of words: the fact that Harry believes that he is in a different category. In fact, if we take a look back over the last couple of years, it is something of a recurring theme in the long and complicated story of Harry versus life. Let's just look at some evidence. So back in January of 2020, Meghan and Harry released an Instagram post announcing that they were done with being full-time working members of the royal family. Instead, they claimed they were going to carve out a progressive new role, a kind of half-in, half-out model that had never been attempted before. Well, the only thing is that what has been revealed since then is that while the late Queen and now King Charles knew that Meghan and Harry were struggling and that they wanted to refigure things a little bit, nothing had been settled in terms of money, security, or anything specific. But Meghan and Harry just barreled on, sharing that post even though nobody had actually signed off on these arrangements. If you look back at that January post, you can see that it's a very confident declaration from a couple of people who seem to believe that they could and would get whatever it was they wanted. Well, it turns out that it didn't really matter that they wanted to have a progressive new role. The late Queen didn't want to collaborate, and so she put her foot down. In the eyes of Her late Majesty, they could be in or they could be out, but there was no different category to be worked here. And it also turned out that the British police didn't have any interest in paying good money to provide Meghan and Harry with security for their runs to Whole Foods in North America. And then what about the millions of pounds flowing from Harry's father into their bank accounts? Well, of course, that was going to stop considering that they were no longer working royals. And it's not only the media that Harry has gone after, but also the Home Office. He is also challenging the decision made by the Met Police's Royal and VIP Executive Committee, RAVEC, which oversees the protection of not only HRHs, but also the Prime Minister and other important public figures. Now, that case hasn't been heard yet, but just last month, a UK judge knocked back a separate bid by Harry to bring a legal challenge against the Home Office over the fact that they said, "No, Harry, we're not giving you the option to pay for government protection when you're in the UK." At the end of the day, just being a prince or princess doesn't automatically entitle anybody to get full-time security. Princess Anne and Prince Edward and his wife Sophie, the Duchess of Edinburgh, are reported to only get official police protection when they're out and about on official monarchical business. And I'm sure that Meghan and Harry's security is a much more complicated matter. But anyway, it does not seem to have occurred to them that when they walked away from official royal life, the same standards were going to apply to them as to other non-working members of the royal family. So if we look back to Megxit, it's clear that even back then, Meghan and Harry acted like they really are in a whole different category. Queen Elizabeth didn't give in to their demands, and by all accounts, the judge in the MGA case was also not impressed. And even without Harry being there in the courtroom, there was one phrase that revealed a lot from Harry, a very laughable claim actually. Mr. Sherburne said that the bad blood between Harry and William went all the way back to 2003, when it was reported that the men disagreed on whether or not to meet their late mother's former butler, Paul Burrell. Even at this very early formative stage, the seeds of discord between these two brothers are starting to be sown. This is what Mr. Sherburne told the court. He also said, brothers can sometimes disagree, but once it is made public in this way and their inside feelings revealed in the way that they are, trust begins to be eroded. And indeed, brothers can sometimes disagree. But then again, what type of brothers write a 400-plus page tell-all book that portrays the other brother as evil? Most brothers also don't trample all over their family's privacy time and time again, all in the name of money. Most brothers do not make a multi-part TV series about their family fights or give interviews in which they refer to their stepmother as dangerous, claiming that she had left bodies in the street in her journey to become queen. Harry and blaming the press for eroding the trust between him and his family after the very same person accepted tens of millions of dollars to breach the trust of his own family is a bit rich, and all of this is only the beginning. Even before Harry enters court on Tuesday to start giving evidence, we've got an annoyed judge, a missing duke, and an eye-popper of a claim. If this is where things stand after only a single day, Harry may trample Bertie in the courtroom drama stakes, and all without a single card having to be dealt.